All right, please somebody give me a heads up. All right, is there sound now? Okay, yeah. Sometimes my Yeti just decides not to work randomly, so you have to unplug it and plug it back in. Anyway, uh, okay, yeah. So welcome back. As I was saying that nobody heard because my Blue Yeti did not indicate that it wasn't working. The I generally try to do these, then the first Wednesday of every month, and it just so happened that that Wednesday happened to fall on New Year's Day, and so here we are. And sometimes I'll push it off, sometimes I don't, but today seemed as good as any day to do that. So I think what I'm just going to try to do, I don't have any props prepared or anything like that because I am in the stage where I'm trying to set up an LLC for my business. I was supposed to do it last year, but I didn't have any time. So I've been doing lots of like financial modeling and stuff like that on my time off, and like I can never finish it fast enough. But I had to go through and like write down, or not write down, but aggregate all of my like intellectual property because I have to transfer it from a sole proprietorship to an LLC and all that good stuff. So it's I'm sure super fascinating stuff. But as I was going through that, at the time I had about um because it keeps changing. Obviously, like by the act of doing this very live stream, like I would have to transfer this video as well. But at the time that I completed it, which was last night, late last night, early this morning, was I've so far accumulated 610 videos. Okay, this will be the 611th, and I'm working on the 612th, which is just a me kind of musing, walking through the forest sort of video, which I don't really generally do on this channel. But I'm just going to experiment with it. Hopefully tomorrow. I just have to edit it tonight. But regardless, so 610 videos. I have apparently 67 short stories, 52 of which have been published. Two editors have expressed their desire to acquire two, but one of them had expressed that desire like 2 to 3 years ago, and I still haven't heard back, so probably not. The other one, I just heard a decision that they want to put it in, an anthology. But I have about, call it 15 13 to 15 stories in inventory, and then 52 that have been officially published. So 67 short stories that I've written over the course of whenever. I have the three anthologies that you know about. I have one collection, Alien Abattoir, and other stories that you can still get today on Amazon. I know Gray Al got a copy. I hope you enjoyed it, man. I appreciate you. Because there's only now, I can always tell if somebody buys something in Canada because it's different in my statistics. Um, I also have three unpublished novels. One I was kind of going back and forth with my publisher. With the new job, I've had no time to do anything. But even just getting out into the park is like, for a hike is like something that I wasn't able to do for a while. And there was a lot of like cleanup that I wanted to do in my house, like in my office and stuff like that, that I got to a lot of it, like just like sorting mail, things like that, and stowing records. And anyway, there's a bunch of stuff that was just I haven't been able to get to. I don't. I hope I'm not boring people because this is really boring stuff. But this is my attempt to reflect on 2024. But anyway, going down this list, three unpublished novels. Uh, there is a new science fiction publisher that's going to be coming out this year. I'm not going to say anything because it's not my say anything more because it's not my decision to make. But if they purchase one of my novels, which may or may not happen, that might be how these things get out into the public. if they don't, I'm probably just going to self-publish the stuff and just get it out. One of the things has been sitting in a trunk for since 2018, and I figure it's good. It's a good novel. I'll just try to get it out there. I'll probably wait until I have about 100,000 subscribers before I do any of that. Um, but I've done accumulated a lot of stuff over the. But anyway, three unpublished novels, and then two published novellas. One's Hell's Well. You can also get uh, this particular episode of the post-apocalyptic tourist guide. It's in like a shared universe, a novella I did about Las Vegas. So anyway, two novellas, and then I had to like tabulate all the equipment that I purchased for the podcast that I use that also gets transferred. Obviously, I was doing kind of cash-based accounting, so I would just fully depreciate it immediately. So it's just gonna, assigned I mean, it still has residual value, but for all intents and purposes, all the equipment's been fully depreciated, so it just goes on the balance sheet as zero, but it's there. Um, anyway, let's. Oh, I didn't see that. I kept talking. So that's like my early stuff, Gray Al. So I've gotten better since then, but I appreciate it. Like a lot of that stuff was like wrote over a decade ago. Some of it. Yeah, Spotify's starting to show me that, right? Like Spotify, uh, I'm about 20% the views, listens, or whatever you want to call it. I'm on YouTube, but it's definitely growing a lot faster, and it pays like 5 times the rate on advertising. So, and then Spotify, I think, is going to do like a hard run at YouTube in 2025 because they made a bunch of different updates and adjustments and stuff like that. So I also had an account on Rumble, but it's just like it's just not super effective. So obviously you're going to continue to do YouTube, but I think Spotify is starting to show some increasing life. So anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And then there was other like properties. I have like 2 websites. I have the YouTube channel, the Rumble channel, the Spotify, 2 Twitter accounts that matter, my Facebook account, which kind of doesn't matter, um, and an Instagram channel that's like I have, but it doesn't really matter. And just kind of just assigning that to an LLC. So that's kind of what I was. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Rumble just isn't. I mean, I wish them great success because they were a kind of took up the free speech mantle and all that stuff. So I appreciate that. But you just and they had something where you could automatically transfer videos from YouTube, and then YouTube shut them down on that, which was annoying because it takes a long time to upload videos and takes a lot of bandwidth and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely show some discrepancies. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been, and then I'm building like this model of all models where I went back all the way to 2010 when I started kind of a creative career, alongside just working full time, and just turning that into an accrual accounting based thing so I can do comparisons like that. It's really nerdy business stuff, but that's the most frustrating thing. So there's a lawyer who that I will contract, hopefully. I haven't seen the contract yet, but I've sent all my information, all that stuff. Um, that's going to do the incorporation, but she works with creators and things like that. I had a very encouraging meeting with her. But that's what I'm aiming to do, is just kind of get the LLC established and things like that. Now, um, I'm doing, I probably should have done it a while ago, but I wasn't making enough money to justify the the expense. And um, I mean, the cost will probably be about half of what I made last year on this channel. So the channel will pay for it. It's going to pay for itself if the trend continues. But I don't like to run. I'm not kind of a big fan of running unprofitable businesses. So there's a lot of things that I've done so that, if I don't account for my own labor, if I accounted for my own labor, I probably wouldn't be profitable. But if I don't account for my own labor, um, and account for everything else, it's been profitable since the beginning. But it's only been profitable because I was doing things that are much more lucrative, like consulting, and then also doing some work for a local university as a contractor, which I don't advertise here because I don't want to have like I don't want the institution to be associated with this channel, even though there are people at the institution who are associated with this topic, if that makes sense. So it wouldn't be terrible if they found out I did this, but I'd rather just keep it separate, um, so I can keep the stuff rolling in. No, Ecosystematic Futures podcast. No, I probably do need to see that. So, uh, anyway, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the channel. Uh, I ultimately I'd love to be able to do this full time, and I did what. And I mean by full time, I mean the channel. For about 2.5 years, I was doing stuff on my own full time, and one of the things I was doing was this channel, but I was doing more lucrative things like consulting and the other gig that I have to kind of subsidize it. But I would love to just do this full time, and just be, fully have a creative career, either via interviewing people for the podcast or also just writing books, novels, and then, all sorts of things, right? So a little bit of fiction, a little bit of nonfiction, and then particularly just figuring out what's going on, and kind of delving into the fundamental nature of reality. Uh, if I were able to do that, once I got to a certain level, I would start doing field trips to various locations and getting a little bit more active with trying to understand what's going on with the phenomenon, nature of reality, all that stuff. We'll see, but you have to kind of step back and take a look at where you started and where you ended. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, because that does help, because this is a tough gig in terms of trying to build anything, and a lot of people just quit because it's and no shame on that, because it's hard. It is a ton of work, and you have to put in a Herculean amount of work before you even begin to see green shoots. So you have to be a little you kind of have to be half crazy, right? Um, which I probably am a little half crazy. But oh, this is driving me crazy. All right, well, I'm probably okay. All right, I'm gonna see something good. Um, all right, well, that's not great. Sorry, just bear with me. I'm just trying to. All right, that's where I want to be. Go to lifetime, and then we want to go to subscribers. And instead of daily, we want to go to yearly. Yeah, it's not ideal. Uh, let's see if it gives me everything. Yep, that's good. Really? That doesn't seem right to me, but that doesn't seem right either. That's concerning. And that's not right. All right, this is really, really, really annoying. All right, well, the data that YouTube is showing me right now is just wrong. It's just wrong. All right, I'm gonna rely on my own stuff, which will give me the answer. Un, it's just unreal. Bear with me. I'm gonna tell you. It would have been nice just to be able to, show people. But you're gonna have to just take my word for it. Okay. So, and let me see how I ended yesterday. It's not going to cooperate there either. Okay. All right, fine. There we go. Okay. So to give you some context, I started the channel on January 22nd, 2022. Okay. I had 0 subscribers. And then I just went nuts, went crazy, did all, worked really hard. By the end of that first year, I had 959 subscribers. So I didn't even break 1,000 in the first year. Okay. By January of that year, I think I crossed the Rubicon on 1,000. And then I ended the following year, 2023, with 3,790. So not that impressive, but almost a 3x improvement over the prior year, or sorry, almost a 4x improvement over the prior year. So you have to kind of look in those terms, otherwise you drive yourself crazy. I ended this year with 11,862 subscribers. So again, like a 3x improvement. So, each year it's like n minus 1. So if that trend continues, right, it goes from 4x to 3x. If I go down to 2x, I'm going to be around 24,000 by the time this year ends. That would be disappointing for me. That would be like a soul searching sort of thing, given the effort and, the amount of time I spend on this. An amazing year would be ending at 100,000. Okay. Then I'd be well on my way, ready to kind of do things of my own. If I end up at 50,000, I would consider that acceptable. Anything less than that, I might consider it, it might be the end. The issue with this thing too is like I projected that I would be far ahead of this by now. But I figure I give it 5 years, and I've already consumed about 3 of those years. So who knows, right? It is exponential, right? So again, as a reminder, 4 times from where I started, right? Or, after by the second year, I was 4 times the first year. by the end of this year, it was 3 times the prior year. So who knows? We'll see. But it's still exponential. It doesn't feel that way. So, all right, let's see. I'm just going over. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, interesting. Ecostemic Futures podcast. All right, I'm gonna do that right now. Wow. Yeah, LinkedIn is not awesome when it comes to trying to find things. Maybe I'll just try that when I have more time later, because it's not showing up. Ecosystematic or Systemic Futures podcast. Let's try that again. Should go straight to Google. Echo Systemic Futures. Let's see. All right, I'm looking for it. Okay, I think I found it. All right, so the guests were Dr. Hal Puthoff, Ryan Graves, Travis Taylor, Dr. Anna Brady Estevez, that's a co-host, Dr. Lawrence Forsley, who's Chief Technology Officer of the Global Energy Corporation. Oh yeah, this is like definitely AstroTurf stuff. I mean, that's like for 2 seconds, like a 2 second view. That's 100% AstroTurf. It's like a government operation. So let's see. Yeah, I appreciate that, Scott. Yeah, it just takes a while. Happy New Year, Pavlos. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, that name keeps coming up. Vance Davis. Yeah, why not? That sounds like an interesting. Yeah, that's the other problem right now. I have one interview scheduled this weekend, and that's it. And I think I have like 3 episodes left that are published. Like if I don't get ahead of that, uh, the channel could be in trouble just because it takes me. I don't want to not sleep, right, in order to get something out. But I like to have like a big buffer, but my buffer is being rapidly eaten away at, and that concerns me a little bit. And I've been trying to get guests, but it's always like, oh, just reach out to me next month or this or that or no response. So if my guest doesn't show up on Saturday, I'm going to be in real trouble because they do that sometimes, right? So I'm just hoping I'm hoping that because that could be a big problem. So anyway, that's kind of how things went. Without getting too much into money, I made less on my independent career last year now, 2024. But that's because halfway into the year, I got a full time day job. But if I had like doubled what I made in the first half, it would still be up. So I don't want to get into that. People don't like talk about money, but that's just kind of where I was seeing progress, and then I had to slow down, and I could not take like the lucrative stuff. I could just continue doing the YouTube stuff, which is becoming more lucrative, but not remotely there yet. Um, okay, sounds good. Um, and then turns out 2025 started out with a bang. We got a Cybertruck blowing up in like a basically a car bomb in front of Trump Tower or Trump Hotel or some Trump property. Like, what the heck? And then we have more more deaths from the Religion of Peace down in Louisiana. Uh, which he's conveniently a Army veteran and Texan, and not a Muslim. Funny what they choose to emphasize, because obviously, Texans and army vets are murderous people. Yeah, yeah. I don't. Oh, and Elon. Oh my God. Talk about going from hero to zero in like 48 hours. Like, man, we all agree that you want to bring in the best, but that's not what the H-1B program's about. It's about bringing in engineering talent at half the cost, or a third of the cost of hiring US engineers. So, yeah, not great. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the thing that happened in New Orleans is a a gentleman drove his car through a crowd, much like happened in Germany. And he also happened to practice the same religion. So I'll just leave it at that, and you can all figure it out. Okay. And the biggest tell is, when the media says that he's a veteran or a Texan, but they don't talk about race. Because then you know that he's not something, and he most likely is something else. But anyway, I'm going to try to digress from that. I'm so cynical about the system that we all live and operate in that I have to be careful about, how I talk about things, and because it's just made me so cynical, and cynical in a bad way, right? So the next one is the bird flu. That's the next crisis we're going to have to deal with, and I'm kind of not sure how I would handle it, right? Like, do you take whatever they're telling you to take, or do you not take it, right? Because if you follow what they did last time, I got to be very careful. You absolutely shouldn't touch it. But if they're trying to maximize casualties, then maybe the thing does work this time, and the people who don't take it all perish. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that. I have to put sharp curbs on anything related to you know, the 2020 unpleasantness that we had. But it basically just revealed that the emperor has no clothes. We live in a tyranny, and look, Trump's not going to change that. Like, he's just not. Um, I wish him the best. I wish him good luck, but it's we live in like an oligarchy. We have oligarchs, and they just manipulate things behind the scene, but they don't send their kids to war, right? They send you to war, right? They pay some taxes, but they, find elaborate ways to avoid them. You pay taxes. They're the ones that start these wars and they stand to gain, and they establish a consensus. And the consensus is, heads we win, tails you lose, right? So I'm cynical about a lot of this stuff, but the best you can do is render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's, right? Just treat your neighbor well. Make sure you're able to care for your own family and defend yourself and protect yourself, because government's not coming to save you. Government is just a parasite, okay? And it's a parasite that, as I think Lynn Buchanan would call it, a mafiocracy. It's just a mafiocracy, right? If they don't like what you're doing, they'll send Vinny over to shoot you, right? Like, so we're not going to get disclosure because these people have it doesn't benefit them to disclose. So you're all on your own. You gotta find out on your own and figure it out on your own, and that's the only thing you can do. Respectfully, and like, don't cause problems. Pay your taxes to the tyrants, right? And just stay out of their hair, and just follow the golden rule, and that's all you can do. But I love my country, but my government, I don't. Like, they're just parasites. So I think the Doge thing is going to be fun to watch, but the house always wins. The house always wins. So it'll be fun to watch, but I'm not super optimistic about it. Yeah, 100%. Right? They're both wings on the same bird. That's it. Yeah, like, it is just a sophisticated slave system. Like, we're all slaves, right? Like, look, I would do this job for forever if I could sustain my family and things like that without running out of money. Now, I was never close to running out of money, but I was definitely, we were definitely burning, some cash over the past 2.5 years. But I've always been paranoid all my life, so I had saved a lot. But that's not sustainable, particularly in I'm in my most productive years right now, so I have to try to maximize it. But I would love to do this for a living. Just, interview people, read books, write books, learn, and just, I've never really enjoyed doing work before until now. Like, I really enjoy it. And then going back kind of was like that rude awakening. Like, oh, I remember, I forgot how painful this could be. But I'm grateful to have it. I'm grateful to do it. But this is what I want to do long term, and I just have to destroy myself to allow it to happen. So, yeah, I'm just going through. I need to be more positive and upbeat. Yeah, yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah, and I think we're in for, I mean, look, we started the year with a car bombing and a truck murder, truck mass murder. So I wonder why the lobby hasn't come out with the ban all trucks. Why haven't we heard that argument yet? Oh, we only hear that for guns. I got it. Okay, only guns kill people. Trucks don't kill people. People kill other people. I shouldn't use that word actually. You be careful with that K word. Apparently, they call it unaliving people. I guess is the unaliving is the proper terminology for YouTube. Yeah, no response from Steven Skinner. None whatsoever. I can try reaching out again, but nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. Oh, I think it's paranoia. So the thoughts on the artificial fog thing. I think that people have been lied to so much that they're starting to get paranoid. And or this paranoia has been building up. I shouldn't say starting to, but it's been building up since the pandemic. So there's nothing you can tell these people. There's nothing you can do. But you know, after all of the lies from 2020 and onward, I think people just are paranoid and they don't trust central authority anymore. And they frankly they shouldn't. Central authority didn't really acquit itself well. I mean, as you see December, like the orbs in New Jersey, and I'm saying orbs because some of them were orbs. They used, now they're using drones as a kind of interchangeable with the 1950s weather balloons. Okay, so they, basically tried to psychologically anchor people into normalizing the use of drones, so it got muddied. But I mean, they just lied initially, like, "Oh, it's a transnational Chinese, Russian." Oh, really? So the Chinese and Russians can, at will, penetrate our airspace. There's nothing we can do. We can't stop them. We have to, and the first test of that is over New Jersey, and you're just surveilling. You're not attacking. I'm sorry, but if we had that capability, you would not see it until the attack began. That's just the way those things work. So of course they're like, "Oh well," and then some poor congressman got seated with the Iranian mothership nonsense, and then he just like impaled himself. And then I think they finally settled on, oh, the people of New Jersey are just stupid. They didn't see, they just saw planes. And look, some of them probably did, right? But in the most densely populated state in the United States, people aren't gonna, like, who routinely see aircraft, they're not gonna just start saying random things. I mean, like, there's Judge Napolitano, right? The guy, Fox News guy. He's a judge. He's a sitting judge. He saw some weird stuff, right? And it was like looking in his window and just weird. So if they're going to lie about something that fundamental, they're going to lie about everything else. So I'm not, you just like, you pay their crippling taxes and then you just try to stay away and you do your best. So let's see. I'm just looking through. I haven't heard Trump's stance on it, but I have heard Elon and Vivek's stance on it. And like, my opinion of Elon like went into the toilet after this. Like, H1Bs are just a cheap way to get slave labor for like in technological fields. And what it does is it has a long-term negative effect on science and engineering and STEM jobs and the incentive to go into those industries in the long run, right? Because if you want to be an engineer and you can only make 70K for the rest of your life per year, what are you doing? just major in economics, go into finance, and you get at least double that starting. Like, why would you kill? And it's and economics is like easy as shit. I know, I've taken courses in it, right? It's easy as shit. Engineering's hard, right? So that's what we're doing. Like, it forces Americans to just go into less useful occupations. So yeah, it's just like, as soon as they started pushing this stuff, it's like, oh, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. They're all oligarchs, right? That's why they stream in all these people, right? Just depress the wages, screw the little guy. So anyway, yeah, I wouldn't say we're the general prison pop. I think we're just slave labor. We're just viewed as slaves by these oligarchs. Yeah, so he's wrong. Trump's 100% wrong in that. Which, I mean, it's in his economic interest to be wrong about it, right? It just means cheap labor for him. But that said, the alternative was war. Like this DEI shit is more poisonous than than like regular Marxism. Like race Marxism, race communism is the worst possible kind of communism you could have. So as bad as this little flap is, it doesn't come close to the race communism that was kind of being perpetrated against people in this country. So I mean, that's why you're seeing planes falling out of the sky, right? It's because they're looking for, like, the most qualified people are going to get these jobs regardless of race. But when you're looking for people of a certain race or immutable characteristic to fill a position, and you're just putting someone in that position, not because they're qualified, but because of a certain immutable characteristic that they liked, it's wrong. I mean, I'll give you an example. So in 2021, I looked this up, there were 323,000 jobs added by companies in the S&P 100, okay, in the United States. Only 6% of them went to white males, right? Now, white males are about 31 to 33% of the population. Only 6% of those jobs went to white males. And guess which company is in the S&P 100? Haven't guessed? Tesla. Okay. So, Elon might talk about the woke mind virus, but he doesn't practice what he preaches. And the H1B situation is just another example. So again, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Yeah, but he doesn't do his homework. That's the problem. He never does his homework. He's really good at marketing, but he doesn't do his homework. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not surprised. But BlackRock owns everything. I mean, they own shares in Tesla. I don't know if they own like the majority stake, but they own shares in most companies. Yeah, the other thing too is I mean, look, I live in kind of the Silicon Valley area. Like, you don't want to work for Elon. You just don't. Like, there's just a lot of, he's the guy. I mean, you don't become the number one Diablo 4 player in the world and be a grinder, like working, my belief is that he's one of those CEOs who like shows up at one of his various companies once a month, causes a big stir, everybody has to get ready. If they say the wrong word in the meeting, they go back to their desk and there's our security's already waiting there to escort them out. That's the kind of leader he is, right? Where he just screams at people and fires them until he finds the person who does what he wants. and that person gets burn out super quickly. There's actually an anecdote if you watch the interview of Joe Rogan of James Fox. James Fox says something like, "Yeah, I had this friend who got a job at SpaceX. He was really excited about it, and then I met him a few months or a few years later, and I said, "Oh, how's that SpaceX job going?" He's like, "Oh man, Elon, I don't work there anymore." He's like, "Well, why don't you work there? That was a great job." He's like, "I was in the hospital with my wife, and I get this call from Elon, and Elon's like, 'Where are you?' He's like, 'I'm at the hospital with my wife. You need to get here now. This is really important.'" Like, he's that kind of guy, right? So, everything about his own thing is the most important. I mean, look at Doge. Like, why? I think initially we weren't going to pay any. My understanding is we're going to pay anybody. Oh, you're just going to do it for the love of this. Are you nuts? Yeah, every yeah, 100%, 100% Fidel, 100%. Look, he's been good for free speech. I'll give him that, right? I'll give him that. Like, he single-handedly saved the country by buying Twitter for at least the next 4 years. We'll see. We'll see if he, and even then they're going to be rocky. Yeah, like, you can't. The government's never going to solve your problems. You can only solve your own problems. Yeah, I would never. Yeah, 100%, 100%. He's banning him from the platform. He's not following the whole, like, free speech as long as it's my free speech, right? Not yours, but mine. However, Twitter is still 1,000 times better than it was before he took over. Because there's less mass reporting. All the mass reporting went to Blue Sky. So, as long as you don't go head to head with Elon Musk on his own platform, you'll be okay. So you should be careful about going head to head with him on the platform. But it's a lot better than, like, "I'm highly offended by, you asked me where I was from." Yeah, are you from, like, the East Coast or the West Coast, the United States? I didn't mean, like, where your family's from. If I wanted to know where your family's from, I would say, "Where's your family from?" Right? Or what your descendant, like, this, like, stupid, or "I've been misgendered." Fuck you. Right? Like, you could get an account banned for something like that. It's just, it was out of control. It was absolutely out of control. So you got to give them credit for that, and I give them credit where credit's due. Yeah, I mean, it depends. You got to choose your battles, right? And I wasn't going to choose my battle on the H1B1 thing. Um, you know, it's just not worth it. Yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, objectively, what he said was just stupid. Like, it's not to have access to better talent. It's to have access to much much cheaper talent. That's what it's all about. And then Vivek, like, the more you read about this guy, right? Like, he became wealthy by just a rug pull, right? He took some drug that had been lost its FDA approval 3 times in a row, and then he went to put it through FDA approval. Apparently, his mother was a reviewer, like, of the drug, and of course approved it, stamped it, and then it was, or at least kind of pushed it a little bit further along. He goes out, either IPOs the company, becomes a multimillionaire, and then, sells the shares, and then the thing's not approved and rug pulls all the investors. Like, that's Vivek. So none of these, like, to get at that level, you have to have a little bit of evil in you. Like, there's just, you can't be a good person and at that level. You just can't. I mean, you used to be able to be. but I don't I don't think you can anymore. You have to be able to justify horrific evil. I'm rolling with boner dice. Yeah, I'm talking. We're asking. We're talking about the H1B1 visa argument, and just don't let it happen again. I'm rolling with boner dice. Yeah. So look, I think the H1 like B visa thing has its purpose, but I think it's been wildly abused. I think there's supposed to be like 80,000 that come in every year, but like the big tech companies routinely ask for exceptions and they bring in like 10 times that, like 800,000 or something crazy, something insane, like an insane level of abuse. And it's just like, are the people running our government like protecting us? Or are they just, they don't care? And you know, by any view, they don't care. They don't give a crap about us. It's like late Roman Republic or late Roman Empire self maximization right now. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think they're deliberately against us. I just think their incentives are the opposite of the average American. Like, I just want to be able to have a nice life where I don't have to work 100 hours a week in order to kind of keep, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And the only way you can kind of get out of that cycle is if you start your own thing. And believe me, like I've had highly lucrative jobs, but there's so much insanity in those jobs that it's just, I'm just tired. Like I just want to build my own thing, run my own thing, and avoid the insanity. But it just takes a very long time to get to that level. But I hope to get there. It's just going super, super, super slowly. You can only see the growth in hindsight. No, I don't think he will. Because I think well, I don't know. It depends if they gave him any of the technology, right? And I don't know. I don't think they did. I think he's too I just think they've kind of forced him not to talk about any of this stuff. And that's basically the extent to which he's there. Yeah, slow and steady. Hansen Grill, slow and steady. Or Heisen Grill. Heisen Grill. Or Ha is in, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to say Heisen Grill because that's the fastest way to pronounce it. But yeah, it's definitely slow and steady, which I guess is good. It's just frustrating to watch some other channels that, you know, a quick briefing I'm open to provide on CBRN Tech. All right, at some point, if I do like an open lines thing, but tonight this is more of a chill uh, podcast because I have to go back to work tomorrow, and I'm a little uh I have that feeling, a feeling that I need to get as much done. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I don't think thoughts on Tim Taylor. He's an Intel guy, so I don't know what to think, right? Other than you need to be very careful about whether or not you believe him. But they locked down Bledsoe, so he can't be a good guy. Maybe he is. I don't know. Um, Yeah, he's kind of gone dark though. And then I think Danny Jones had one of his podcasts deprioritized. I think Chris Bledsoe's a genuinely good guy. Um, and I think the intelligence community would have used his love of country to manipulate him, or maybe not, maybe convince him, right, for whatever reason. But he's when I interacted with him, I thought he was like a wonderful human being, a really good human being. Yeah, I think he's a great human being. He suffered through a lot, and yeah, he's a genuine good guy. Yeah, Das Smith is also a good guy. Um, I appreciate him a lot. I mean, generally, like the people that you watch on this podcast are genuinely good people. And if not, you'll be able to tell from the podcast. Not from my reaction, but you'll just like their responses and stuff like that. Yeah, he's like I said, the night before I started talking to him is when the owls showed up. So, by the way, I saw another one last night. Uh, it's like in the tree, and I only saw its wings on the way down because it was dark and it was just very difficult to see. But it is what it is. Anyway, where was I? I got like went way, way off the ranch in terms of uh yeah, it'll just be interesting to see what happens in 2025. Um will there be more revelations on NHI? I think so, but it won't necessarily be coming from our government. Oh yeah, Dick Algar on a 19 years, and there's nothing we can do about it, and the crypto is the only way. Um, no, I think people will still resist. Somebody texted me about some rant. It's one of my rants. I don't know who this is. Oh, yeah, okay. Thanks, Kev. That's who texted me. Yeah, I don't think. I think there's going to be a push for it, but I think people will literally start unaliving their neighbors when that starts happening. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna. Yeah. Sounds about right. Some of his predictions are accurate. Not all of them. Lynn Buchanan had something similar, but what Lynn Buchanan did say that was people get so fed up with central authority that they have a peaceful revolution in the sense that they just no longer submit. They don't do anything violent. It's just peaceful. They're just like, yeah, I'm not paying. None of us here are paying taxes. You don't deliver anything. So feel free to arrest us. Uh, but you can't arrest all of us because nothing will work anymore. So good luck. Good luck with that. Um, and I think there's something. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna put that out there. Probably not good. Yeah, information is definitely everything. Yeah, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say reading from. I would say interpreting from the WEF script. So anyway, all right. Where was I? So disclosure. Yeah, I mean, I say crazy stuff all the time. So I think we're going to see more stuff, and I think the government's going to continue lying to us about it. And just saying nothing to see here. Those are not the droids you're looking for. So unfortunately, I think that's where we're going. And that's not to mention whether or not Trump ever makes it to the White House, right? And then after he does, how how radical portions of the population are going to handle it. So, yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah, that sounds like the kind of stuff our elites would do today. Yeah, so during the Roman Republic, soldiers would come back from war and be jailed for not paying their debts. Soldiers and their families then moved to a hill and refused to fight to Rome for Rome. Yeah, we're kind of getting there. He's not. Vidal, you're right. He's not. Like he's just as self-interested as the rest of them. Um he's just you know, he's just not as he's just not as well, I'm trying to choose my words wisely and carefully. Um his world vision is just not as satanic as the prior administration, or I should say satanic because that's not accurate, but like um not as bigoted, I think is probably the most accurate way to put it, or prejudiced, right? Um like just putting people in roles, because again, 323,000 jobs, only 6% went to white men. Like that's some illegal, like that's black and white illegal stuff. And nobody cares. That just happens. It's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. And what that does is, like you could do that in Nazi Germany against minorities, but when you do it to the majority, you're going to have a like you're threatening a widespread systemic shutdown, right? It's just stupid. And there's some morons who kind of went along with it, but he's going to crack down on some of it. But the first big test for Trump is whether or not he pardons the January 6th political prisoners. That's going to be the first test, and I'm not sure he's going to pass it, to be honest, because he's kind of a self-interested guy, right? He's not like, look kind of what he did to Steve Bannon, right? As soon as he decides to discard you, he's going to discard you. He doesn't reward loyalty. Um, so he wants loyalty, expects like undying loyalty, but he'll throw you in front of a bus. Like, look what he did to his lawyer, right? Cohen, right? Just threw that guy in front of a bus for keeping all his secrets. So again, I have nothing against Trump. I'm glad that he won, but he's not going to be the change people think. If it's in his self-interest, then yeah, there'll be change. But if it's not, but I think his big test will be the January 6th. If he doesn't use political capital on that, he's going to lose support pretty quickly. I mean, he's already like the whole Elon Vivek thing. Like, come on, guys. The people who voted for you voted because they wanted you to protect their interests, and the H-1B visa thing is not in their interest. Oh man, yeah, it's just like classic stuff. But I do look forward to seeing them just destroy. I don't know if there's a woke right, but it's like an oligarchic right. Like those are not good people either. Yeah, exactly. That's like the oligarchic right is how I would. There's the woke left, but then there's the oligarchic right, and the oligarchic right is not good for either the left or the right at all. So they're the ones that sent all the jobs over to China, and now we don't have a manufacturing base, or we have a limited manufacturing base. Yeah, the whole system is tainted with irredeemable corruption. Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I mean, 55% of my income, I like 55% of my time, I'm a slave for this tyranny. Right, one is the California tyranny, and the other is the federal tyranny. 55% of my time, if you measure it by income, I'm working more for the government than I am for my own family. Like, fuck them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. Oh my god. Yeah, I think Trudeau like just like his whole government collapsed. Who knows what's going on with that? Yeah, it absolutely is a linchpin of communism. Yeah, I'm sure you can. I'm rolling boner dice. I'm sure you can. I just like to say your name. The German guy and the French guy to resign. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Trudeau's a disaster. It's a walking disaster. So, all right. Well, regardless, if I ever get more guests, I'm a little worried. I'm seriously worried. Yeah, and then just drug costs too are out of freaking control. So and then he puts like a pharmaceutical lady in charge of his like as his chief of staff. Oh, that's gonna work out great. So anyway, all right, friends. I think now is about time to go. I got plenty of other things I need to knock out. So I appreciate you all. Happy New Year. Keep your heads up. Try to learn a new skill this year, new survival skill, ideally, and just keep your heads up. Things are going to get better. Um, it's just going to be, there's going to be lots more uncertainty this year than there was last year, but we'll get through it. And we're kind of moving in the right direction. Let's just say. I mean, if like, I think if not Biden, if Biden had won, it would be one thing. But if like Kamala had won, it would be even worse. I mean, we would be in real trouble, like serious existential dread. Um, but thank God we ejected her and her pronouns out of the government. So, pending no major national emergency in the next 19 days, I think we're going to be okay. So, anyway, thank you, everyone. Have a great year. I hope you enjoyed your holidays, and thank you for sticking in and listening to me ramble and talk nonsense, or maybe not. So, you all have a great evening and start to your new year. Thanks again.